Hey friends, this is Janice Plata Gallagher. I am testing out Google Hangout. Yeah, testing Google Hangout, and hopefully you're not hearing me multiple times. So if you see me stepping out of the view every now and then, it's because I'm testing something else. I keep testing stuff. So I'm going to activate the Q&A, and I'm wondering who all is able to see the Q&A. Can you hear me still? Got a little bit more light in to see if that works. And I'm going to see if we can invite a friend in. Not. So I'm doing this and I'm looking at from different angles. I know this is being simultaneously broadcast on YouTube. And so I'm doing this in multiple places in my home. It is showing up in multiple places in my home, and it is just kind of nutty right now. I'm just seeing myself in 50 different angles. I also want to introduce my co-host here. Where's the co-host? There we go. Introducing my co-host. That is my other account. It's kind of crazy. Seems a little crazy. I am going to add in a link now to the event. And I'm totally wondering if that is going to show up at all. Um, yeah. And I'll switch it back over. Looks like they're going into a low power mode over there. There we go. Okay, I did switch over to the co-host. Awesome possums. And I have shared an item on the showcase. So if you're looking for a link to Tech in 20, you'd like to check that out. I've included that in the Google event. I don't believe it is visible from the YouTube page. If you're looking on YouTube, there is a click here to join the audience for this hangout. I'm going to pop out there. Feel free to click on that to go to the event. You see me looking back and forth behind my screen, the other side of my screen. So here's what I'm going to do. I would like to share with you. I can find it. I'd like to share with you a little training that I did for Tech in 20 on social media, particularly Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. If you've been wondering about Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter, what they have to do with you and how they can help you, especially if you're creative, then here's a little bit on that presentation. I'm also testing out the screen share. And this is a presentation that Tim Maximes and I did, Timitude and I did. Tech in 20 is our little segment for easy technology learning for creatives. So what is and what isn't social media? The best way to explain this is using a throwback example. For instance, back in the day, what counted as media was print media for the most part, and that meant newspapers or magazines. So if there was a newspaper article or a magazine article that was particularly interesting to you that you thought would be interesting for your friends, you would clip that newspaper article and maybe make a couple photocopies of it. I know my parents used to do this, make photocopies of it to give to my brothers and myself, especially something from the Dear Abby column that had to do with responsibility and growing up as a responsible adult. My dad would always give me things like that. And then you'd either hand them to the people you wanted to share them with the next time you saw them, or you would stuff them in an envelope, stuff that copy in an envelope, and send it to them over the mail, right? And that's how it was social. That's how media became social. How you would share a particular article. And that's what we would do back in the day. So social media in the internet sense is just taking that article, that piece of content that you found perhaps on a website, and you can share them in a variety of ways. Initially, in the early days of the internet, you might copy and paste the text and email it. My mom still does this to me. She emails things to me. But now we've got a bunch of different social networks. And the way we can share an article now is, for instance, I'm on the New York Times. I see an article that I like. Somewhere on that New York Times article, whether it's in the header or the footer, sometimes it sticks out of the sides. There's sharing buttons, oftentimes with a social media symbol for whatever social network you're looking at. So in this case, for instance, it might be Facebook with a little F logo with a blue background. Very interesting that all three of these networks have gone with blue. Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Oops. I'll forward a couple spaces here. It still comes back to connections and relationship, sharing what you might think would be relevant for the people in your network. Now, if you shared an article with a friend uh, about knitting and they have never expressed any interest in knitting or in textile arts, that is not a valuable piece of media for them. So you're not really making a connection there, or maybe you're implying to them, why don't you knit more? It's kind of like sending weight loss articles to someone who's not expecting it. It's telling of your relationship with them. So, of course, between these three networks, social media, sharing information can be personal, both on a personal and a professional level, depending on what your relationship to that person in your network is. So the next part of this presentation is talking about platform differences, the differences in these three platforms. Now there are many more social networks than these three. These happen to be the most popular, the ones you'll hear about all the time. And the differences that we're going to look at are between these bullet points. The first one is audience and community. Most people use their Facebook. Their Facebook network is a personal network, or personal community of some sort. For some people, your professional and your personal community blend together. For others, they're very distinct. So most people might, for instance, be connected with their coworker or their boss via LinkedIn, but would not be connected to them on Facebook. Right? I restrict my Facebook to my family and friends, whereas my LinkedIn is for professional people, and I don't mix them together. For some people, it's that way. For other people, the lines are more blurred, and you see more and more of this blurring now as these social networks become a more significant part of our lives and our networking. Twitter can be any mishmash of professional and personal, uh, depending on what you're looking for. Twitter can be a way to connect. You think of Twitter with a lot of celebrities on Twitter. Uh, it's kind of an open forum, and Twitter is, the posts are restricted to 140 characters at a time. That's the big distinction with Twitter. So that's all I'm going to go into right now. There we go. And best ways to learn and adopt any of these is, in my opinion, it is just getting on and trying it out. You can always delete an account if you don't like working in it. And sometimes you just have to see who's in there. Okay, I'm sort of ending this presentation short because I am trying to test out the capabilities of Hangout on Air. So here we are. Now we're back. We're back to where we were. Back to the broadcast. Thanks for being here. I'm trying to see how Q&A works. I want to ask you to submit questions. If I were going to switch this conversation over to my co-host, that's how I switch it over to the co-host. It's kind of low on battery, so it's not really broadcasting anything right now. All right, now as far as Q&A is concerned, okay, what's on this area? Q&A, where do we find the Q&A? If you are in the Hangout, you click the 9 squares in the corner. You can hit the 9 squares button in the top right hand corner, and one of the things on there will be Q&A. Feel free to submit a question if you are in the Hangout audience. And you hear that clicking, I'm submitting questions. I'm submitting questions into the forum so that I can, very nice. So I can see how to use this. So the first question that we're going to look at is, what are the 3 social networks? I don't know if you can see this, if I'm actually showing up in here. So I'm currently answering the question, what are the 3 social networks that I included in the presentation? The 3 social networks I included in the presentation were Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Like I said, there are plenty more social networks that could have been included in there, but just to answer some basic questions around social media, we just went with those 3. You can go to, if you hit Showcase and you look at the links associated with this presentation, you'll see a link to Tech in 20, which is the full presentation with the full audio, as well as you'll hear my co-host Tim on that too. So I'm trying to see where they're showing the questions that we are answering right now. And we don't see that in there. Before I get to the second question, I'm going to plug this phone in before we continue. So hold on one moment. Feel free to ask another question if you have one through the Hangouts event. Go to the Q&A app. We'll have Q&A set up. I don't have a phone charger, so that phone is probably gonna die soon. Oops, phone's probably gonna die. I don't have a thing for that. Okay, the next question that we have is also from Learn with a Passion. What do you know? This is one of my other pages. Wow. And this question is, how do we get a copy of the PowerPoint presentation that I was just showing a moment ago on social media? And you can get a copy of that presentation by using the link on the showcase page for Tech in 20. That's the best way to find it. The link itself is bit.ly. It's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/techin20, TECHIN20. Or just use the showcase link and it will take you there automatically. Thank you for that question. And yes, you're welcome to have a copy of the presentation. Okay, I think I've tested everything that I need to test here. Thanks everybody for your help. And I know that light up there is kind of annoying, so next time I do this, I'll be sure to keep that ceiling fan out of the picture. All right, friends. I think that's it. I'm going to call this good. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, onlineeventhostess@gmail.com, or add your comments underneath the YouTube channel, underneath the YouTube page, or over at the Google Hangout, the Google event. thanks for helping me out. And don't make too much fun of me because we're just testing this stuff out. Thank you.